It's hard to believe that we're already halfway into this year's BMW M Performance Parts Race Series Championship. Welcome to our Round 5 pre-race show. I'm Filippa, and this weekend we're heading back to Zwartkops Raceway in Pretoria. It's the same venue where we started our 2023 season and which will also host our season finale in November. As the home circuit to the majority of our drivers, competition is expected to be fierce around the 2.4 kilometre circuit. The cooler winter temperatures will also adjust our class breakout times, giving competitors an extra half a second in hand. First, let's go back to Welkom. Lenard Archer recently debuted in the series, but is a well-known name in South African motorsport, particularly with BMW. On the way to our last event, we made an early stop to visit Lenard at his company ACD Welkom to find out more about his racing career, his business, living in Welkom, and why he joined the BMW M Performance Parts Race Series.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lenard Archer and I'm from Welkom. I've got my own business in Welkom. I've been having my own business for 32 years now in Welkom. So I'm quite well known, and even my shop, a lot of people know me in Welkom. Actually in Welkom they call me Archie. If I walk in the street in Welkom and somebody says Lenard, I won't even look back. Because everybody knows me as Archie, but at the racing, most of the people, they know me as Lenard. So, okay, I've got a business for 32 years now, it's going for 33 years. Basically what we do is, we've got a mechanical workshop where we do any mechanical services, repairs, brakes, clutches, that kind of workshop. And then I've also got a panel beating shop. The panel beating shop and the mechanical shop is in the same shop. It's the same shop. It's my own shop. I bought this whole place and everything. And up to now, I can't complain. Welkom has been very good to me and my business for the last 32 years. I think it's like everywhere you get your quiet times where it feels like you don't make money, but overall, yeah, I've been staying alive for 32 years now. I was just left school and I've started the apprenticeship on the mine, like everybody who's staying and has been living his whole life in Welkom. Obviously worked on the mine when I have a time. So I've started off with as an electrician appy. And while I was my second year appy as electrician on the mines, I started racing. I think it was in 1985, around about 85. Yeah, I started racing Formula V's. That was still with the old goldfields, and we were in Welkom. I think I have definitely something like 25 people racing Formula V's. Those years we had like a free state championship, and then from that time it was called Transvaal. They had that V8 championship, and then we had the national championship. So strong the Formula V's were. And that's where I started my racing with Formula V's. But I was driving at the back because I didn't have money. I can remember I bought my first V, I bought it for 300 Rand. And I paid the oak of 50 Rand a month for that Formula V, and it was a running Formula V. And then after that, I've qualified at the mine, and I was like 5-6 months qualified. And I know Tony Viana quite a lot. He was at the BMW workshop for racing for BMW. And we always took our cars there to him to dyno, and I knew him quite good. And one day he came to me and he asked me if I don't want to come and work for him. Because I was working on cars and that kind of thing. I was an electrician, but I was more interested in cars. So it was a Friday, and he says, no, I must come in the afternoon, I must come and see him. So that afternoon I went and see him, and the Monday I started with him. And so I was working in the late 80s. Up to 91, I was working for Tony Viana, the BMW Motorsport, which was situated in Roux. And that time we was racing the M5. Well, Tony was racing the M5, and when we built that the 3 Series, we were racing the ISs in the Group N. Those years it was called the Group Ns, which was quite good racing. And that is where I got into the BMWs and really like heavy involved into the racing. When BMW decided that they going to move their workshop up to Joburg, and that is when I said, no, I'm not going to go to Joburg. I'm staying in Welkom. And in 1991, I started my own shop when Tony went up to Joburg. And it wasn't long after he left, I phoned him one day, and when I got the sad news from him that he's got a cancer. And I mean, I think most of the people who knows him know what happened from there. And when I started my own shop now, I was like the first year I bought a race car for myself. It was a 140Z. And we started our own saloon. Those years we called it the Free State Saloons. And the Vista, our local newspaper, was sponsoring us. And also in those years, you know, like every second oak who was working on a mine could afford to do racing because it was cheap. And we was like also 50 people from Welkom. We had our own Free State Championship, and in those years the Transvaalers, for oaks from Gauteng, they used to have the Castrol Clubmans, a real genuine Castrol Clubmans. And then we will have our own Free State Championship. And if you win the championship, you get like your Free State colours those years. I mean, that's how many people were like participating in just our series. And sometimes when the Castrol Clubmans will come to the year, and it was the old Goldfield series. And then we will race against each other, which was always very nice. Those years, C4E and Jannie van Rooyen with his Stanza, all that people was racing there. And from there I just keep on start building cars. You know, I've built a lot of race cars for a lot of people in Welkom. And I've owned a lot of race cars myself over the years. Opels, Astras, turbos, strong cars, slow cars, all kinds of cars. And at one stage when I've just quit the racing. I quit it about for 10 years. I didn't race. And I would say it's about 7 years ago now. I've just decided one night, I was sitting at home and I said, no, I'm going to start racing again. And I've arranged with the people from Legends to bring a car down to Midval. And they brought the car down there, and I went down to Midval and I tested the car that day. And it's a fantastic little thing to drive. And I mean, I didn't drive for 10 years, and I got into it, and it was fantastic, really. And they said they've got like a higher scene where you can hire the car per race and that and that and that. So I've decided to, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And then the first race I phoned them, says they've got a car. They say, no, they don't have a car. And that's when I decided, okay, no, then I'm just going to like build my own car. And then I built a Hyundai Elantra. It was a non-turbo. And I started racing in the Silver Cups. I raced 1 or 2 races in the Silver Cups, and then I went to the triple ones with it. And eventually, at the end of the first season, the horsepower wasn't enough. So I turbocharged it, and from there on, I just was with the triple ones with my Elantra. And then I bought a i20. It was a very nice car to drive. And after that, I've driven a race or 2 with the Volkswagen Challenge guys, crazy guys to drive with. And then I've also raced in the Super Hatch with my Hyundai Getz, which was lovely to race, lovely car. But the thing is, with the Super Hatches, they were going down. The interest is going down and everything. So I've decided to sell the Getz and replace that with the BMW E46 350, which I'm racing on the moment now. And the biggest thing which drew me towards the BMWs was the amount of entries. I mean, you don't go to a racetrack and then there's 7 people racing. There's like this weekend at Pakistan now, we are 40. Or everywhere you go, I mean, there is a lot of people. And I thought I know BMWs because I was working with BMW, but I mean, it's not, racing is not close to what it was like 30 years ago. I mean, my little E46 has got more, it's much better built and much better looking than what BMW's Motorsport BMs were looking at in 1990. I mean, it's got much better, I'm sure like everything is better. So I'm racing with a 350 now, with 350, yeah. But on the moment, I'm also busy now with the E90, which I'm going to race next year with a 335 motor. And I would like to race in Class B in the BMW series. If it's possible, that is where I want to. I was 350 with 140 horsepower, and I want something with horsepower. So that is how I ended up with BMW. Okay, my reason why I'm interested in sponsoring, be a sponsor in BMW series is because it's a big series. I'm sure it is the strongest club in South Africa on the moment, where you will get a lot of coverage for advertising and for what you have to give for sponsorship. Also, I was sponsoring some other groups, and you know, to sponsor a group and when you get to a track and there's 7 entries, I don't think it's worth putting money into that kind of series. Where BMW are, I mean, they're well organized. While I've been here now, I mean, this year is basically my first year with them. They are very professional in what they do, that's for sure one thing. They're well organized and they look after their drivers. Everybody says, yeah, you're going to BMW now, it's expensive to drive. It's a regional series and the entries are much more expensive, but every race we do, BMW M-Parts Performance Series are giving us some discount on our entries. So it's for me cheaper to race with BMW than to race in another series with a discount they give. So I know what it feels like. I mean, there's some people which would like to race, but the money is, I mean, everywhere. Money is a problem for a lot of guys, and a lot of guys can't race because it's difficult to get sponsorships. So if everybody, everybody who can sponsor a little bit for the club, it makes it worthwhile for the drivers, and maybe make it like so that more people can drive BMWs in the BMW series. Okay, and then another thing I would like to say is to all the fellow drivers, all the people who's driving in the BMW series, is to wherever we drive or whatever we drive, just to enjoy everything and be safe. And I'm really proud to be part of BMW series, and I wish all the BMW drivers just the best for best results. And I mean, we can't all win, but it's not always about the win. You can be in 5th place and have a luck of dice, and then you are more happy than to be in the 1st place and you are like half a lap in front. So that's what racing is about. It's not always about winning. I mean, we all like to win, but yeah, it's not all what's the only thing which are making it a nice weekend. It's the dices and that kind of things. So I wish all the people from BMW all the best for the year and just enjoy it, guys.
We wish Lenard every bit of success in the series, and at least he will return with a more normal-looking hairstyle. We'll visit a few more workshops and sponsors in the coming months, with a few additional features heading your way during the winter break. Firstly, though, let's get into round 5. The season opener saw Leon Loubser dominate at Zwartkops Raceway, and he still holds a commanding lead in Class A. William Einkumura took his first victory of the year at Pekisa Freeway, but this time he'll be looking for an outright win on track. The man who lost out on that occasion was Bob Neal, whose victory celebrations were abruptly halted following a penalty for passing under the yellow flag. He'll no doubt be looking for redemption this weekend. The action between this trio will be fast and fierce. Andreas Meyer, Nick McCrease and Lyle Ramsey treated the Zwartkops Raceway fans to some of the season's best racing back in January. As we head into this year's second half, only 12 points separate them at the top of Class B, with Meyer in the lead. Lorenzo Gualtieri and Renier Smith are also edging closer to them on the points table, but Pekisa Freeway clearly indicated that this will be a 5-way battle on track. Class C is looking very different after round 4. Reigning series champion Nicholas Fischer has moved into the lead, 7 points clear of Jan Efferstein. Jaco Storm's maiden Class C win saw him slot into 3rd place. And this weekend, Troy Cochrane, Alan Hilligan and former leader Hein van der Merwe will also return to the grid. The latter will look to repeat his double win from the season opener after a dismal past 3 rounds in which he only recorded 8 points in one race. Round 1 saw Reynard Miller competing in only his 2nd race weekend, but showing promise as a driver to watch for. This time round, he heads to Zwartkops Raceway leading Class D by 16 points and on the back of 5 consecutive podiums, including 3 class wins. The battle for 2nd place is hotting up, with Nicholas Herbst and Father Craig being split by Neil Reynolds. Fresh from his first Class D win of the season, former leader Manny Ribeiro is 5th. Dave Rees dominated Class E at Zwartkops Raceway earlier in the year and continued to do so until round 4, when Arie van Heerden took a double win. However, Rees still holds a 35-point lead in class over van Heerden and moved ahead of Quebus Boma. Mike Grobler and Devold Smith complete the top 5. Rees still holds the lead in the overall championship, but former double champion Meyer has leapfrogged Loubser into 2nd place and is trailing Rees by only 13 points. McCrease and Miller are tied on 55 points. Earlier in the year, we had the reigning Global Touring Cars Super Cup champion, Leighton Fourie, joining us on the grid for the first 2 rounds before his departure to the BMW M2 Cup in Germany. This weekend, a 2nd reigning champion will join. Josh LaRue won the 2022 Invescom Formula 1600 Championship and is currently competing in Global Touring Cars. We caught up with him this past weekend at Aldo Scrivanti.
I'm very excited to be racing in the BMW series next weekend. I haven't driven the car before yet, so Friday is going to be my first time in the car, so I'm also quite nervous for that. But I'm very excited to be racing in the BMW. It's something different for once, and I believe it's going to be some good racing, and I'm just very excited to be racing in the BMW.
This weekend, the split race format will return, with classes A, B and C competing separately from classes D and E. Both groups will have 2 races on Saturday. Round 5 is part of the Extreme Festival, and you can purchase tickets directly at the Zwartkops entrance gate. Saturday's full race day will also be broadcast on the BMW Car Club Gauteng Facebook page and the Two Wheels TV YouTube channel. Stay tuned to our social media channels for news and updates throughout the weekend, and we wish all of our competitors a successful race event. We'll see you there.